And you know what? I can say that 100 different times. You can go in and say it to the people in the White House. They'll say thank you very much, and they won't do a thing about it. They are destroying this country. It's so crazy. They had one of the biggest truckers in the world. They got many, hundreds and hundreds of big, beautiful, most gorgeous trucks. He said, you know, all my life, every year we buy some trucks. We buy, and I have now the biggest, just about the biggest company, I guess. He said every year they got better. They got better. They got stronger. They got more powerful. They were more beautiful. They just got better and better. If this happens, we will be going back 60 years if this happens. There's nothing they can do about it. Nothing they can do about it. I said, have you spoken to the White House? They couldn't care less. That's why they're doing all the things in California with the California deal. California, on any summer afternoon, is in a blackout. They're in a total blackout. Now they want to add millions of cars to the grid. You know, it's insane. It's just crazy. It doesn't work. It's all about something. No, I think it's all about destroying our country, actually, because nobody can figure. That's the only thing I can't figure out. Why do they want to have open borders with millions of people pouring in? People coming from jails, prisons, people coming from mental institutions and insane asylums, you know? My people say, please, sir, don't mention the words insane asylum. Why? Because that's a vicious thing. I said, that's Silence of the Lamb. You know what that is? Has anybody seen Silence of the Lambs? Hannibal Lecter, how great an actor was he? You know why I like him? Because he said on television, on one of the, I love Donald Trump, so I love him. I love him. I love him. He said that a long time ago, and once he said that, he was in my camp, I was in his camp. Yeah, I don't care if he was the worst actor, I'd say he was great to me. And no, he was great. I'll tell you, he was incredible. But that's the insane asylum stuff. It's a step beyond. But mental institutions, insane asylums, jails, prisons, and terrorists, they're pouring into our country. And you go over to South America, and it's not South America, it's all over Africa. They're allowing all of their prisoners, and they're transporting them into the United States. We're like a dumping ground. And they're taking them from 129 countries, we think. They don't have any idea, you know, New Yorkers, they have no idea what's happening. I had the greatest guys. I had the safest border in the history of our country, and now we have the unsafest border in the history of the world, because there's never been a country like this. But it's a horrible thing that's happening, and very dangerous. And you know, these people are very aggressive people. They drink, they have drugs, they have a lot of things happening, and they're very, very aggressive. I heard a woman talking, a great woman, she lost her son in New York. To your kids, this is really communism, fascism. These are Marxists. These are sick people. But who would think that? Who would think that they would say one of my favorite phrases? I will not allow men to play in women's sports. Who would think that? Who would think it? Men, weightlifter, right? Guy lifted 150 pounds more than a woman. It's so demeaning. You know, it's so demeaning to women. The swimming, you see the records? You know, a record that stood for 20 years is broken by 4 hours or something. No, it's just crazy what's going on. It's no wonder that the far left lunatics are getting desperate to stop our movement, because they know this is the movement they can't beat. They'll stop at any means. They'll use law enforcement. They actually now have to revert to law enforcement. As you know, crooked Joe Biden and his radical left thugs have weaponized law enforcement to arrest their leading political opponent, me. Thank you all very much. This is high-level election interference, and it's happening for a single reason, because I'm the only candidate that they do not want to run against. I'm the only one that shows. It's hard to believe that, because frankly, the Republican candidates, I could take almost all of them. I mean, some of them you can really have. But almost all of them are better than Biden. I'm the only one that's polling way above Biden. We beat him. Washington Post the other day came out 11 up. They actually said 9, then they had to change it to 10, and then they actually had to change it. It's the only time, so they spend $1 million on this big stuff. Washington Post, ABC. ABC is one of the worst, by the way, I gotta tell you, one of the nastiest. They always come up with stuff. They're very nasty people. They pretend like they're nice, and then they hit you with zingers all the time. But ABC is bad news. ABC fake news, I call it. It's all fake news. Deface the Nation. Do you watch Deface the Nation? Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump on Face the Nation. Right now I go, ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump on Deface the Nation. And Meet the Press has been changed now. They have a new anchor. We interviewed with her a couple of weeks ago, Kristen Welker. She was so nice until she started interviewing me. Then she got a little bit hyper, but she was good. In the Marquette poll, voters preferred Trump over Biden by 24 points. I didn't hear that one. 24 points on the economy. 24 points on border security, and 23 points on inflation, and 19 points on creating jobs, and 34 points on the border. It's a lot. Because remember, the Democrats start off with like 40. You know, people said, a friend of mine said, I said, yeah, I'm up 10 or 11 points. In some cases, I'm up 2 or 3, but we're up. And he's a very smart guy. He said, how can you only be up 2 points on that guy? I said, because they start off with a big advantage. They have certain groups, I won't say, they have certain groups that vote for them. By the way, a lot of groups, if you look at African American, they're at my level, higher than anybody's ever had before. Hispanic American, we are going to probably win Hispanic American. By the way, if that happens, this election is over. You know, the biggest thing on the election, because they're going to cheat, they're going to try like hell to cheat. The single biggest thing on the election is we got to swamp them. Because, you know, there's a level at which, as bad as they are, they're crooked as you can be, but there's a level at which they can't win. We got to win and we got to swamp them. If we swamp them, we don't have to worry about it. But we also have a lot of good lawyers and a lot of other people looking, but because they use COVID. But if you swamp them, that solves a lot of problems. The radical left Democrats rigged the presidential election of 2020, and we're not going to allow them to rig the presidential election of 2024. Not going to allow it. Every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists indict me, I consider it a great badge of honor. Because, thank you very much, I am being indicted for you. Thanks a lot, I appreciate that. It's always a little tough. I call Ivanka. Hello, Ivanka. Anybody ever hear of Ivanka? Nice person. Beautiful, nice person. Hello, Ivanka. Listen, your daddy is going to be indicted today at 6 o'clock. I didn't want you to see it in the news. I didn't want you to. I go back, I see our great First Lady. I say, First Lady. I call First Lady. Just kidding. They'll say now, headline. He calls her First Lady. What kind of a relationship is that? But she's great. She's so popular. People love her. The style, the beauty. The beauty, the style. You're not allowed to talk about beauty, so let's leave it. If you say beauty, you immediately lose the election. But the style, the beauty, the whole package, but they love her. I say, darling, today at 5 o'clock I'll be indicted. And she actually said, again? That's pretty cool, right? Again? How many times? Now I'm the only one that goes up in the polls every time I get indicted. You know, Alphonse Capone. Did anybody ever hear of Al Capone, the great gangster? He would kill you if he didn't like you at dinner. He would just, you'd be dead. You're gone. And he only got indicted once. Okay? I've been indicted 4 times. I think I have a record for most indictments quickly. Considering I never had a problem in my whole life, it's like a record. Most indictments within a 15-minute period. All phony deals, too. How about the one in Georgia? How about that phony one? How about the one in New York? She values Mar-a-Lago at $18 million, and she convinces a judge. Now, you don't know what Mar-a-Lago is, but you sort of do. So some people say it's worth 100 times that number. She values it at $18 million. And I said, there's something wrong here. And everybody said that. And it's probably could be $1 billion, $1.5 billion, could be more than that. So it could be 100 times that amount. These are crooked people. This is election interference. These are very dishonest people. And she has a judge who's a radical left judge, and and I don't get a jury. So even if I had a tough jury, I'd win. But I'm not allowed to have a jury. Nothing to do with checking the box. You know what that is? The lawyer. No, you can't check the box. There's no box there. They did it under a Consumer Fraud Act. Can you believe it? Where found out I have what's called the disclaimer clause. It's a little complicated, not too complicated. There was no fraud. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. And they've been totally discredited. And it's a disgrace that a thing like that can go on. It's election interference. Never forget, our enemies want to stop us. Because we are the only ones who can stop them. We're the only ones. And if we don't win this election, our country is finished, I hate to tell you. They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. I will not let it happen. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. And in the end, and this is so true, they're not after me, they're after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way. I'm standing in their way. Thank you. A lot of fun. It's a lot of fun up here, standing in their way. But this is not just a campaign, this is a movement. There's never been anything like this in history. You know, I tell about Pat Buchanan, who was a great guy, but he came in, I believe, second in New Hampshire, and he made a life, because he did so much better than anyone. He made a life out of coming and saying, we came in first in every state. Think of it. We came in first in every state. And the islands. You know, the islands count too. And it's an incredible thing. The level, so we ran twice, we won twice. The level of enthusiasm now blows 16 and blows 20 away. Because now you're fighting for your lives. You know, you're really fighting for your lives in a true sense. Together we created the most secure border in U.S. history and built nearly 500 miles of border wall. We actually built 561, as I understand it. It's a lot. How about sloppy Chris Christie says he only built 50 miles of border wall? Because there's a board laying on the ground from 50 years ago that's rotted, and we put up this gorgeous, big, brand new thing. They say, oh, well, that's a renovation. And there are boards all over the place, you know, just rotting in the sand. But what a loser he is, by the way. He suffers from Trump derangement syndrome. Worse, I think maybe worse than any Democrat. What do you think of the economy? I don't like Donald Trump. It's Trump derangement syndrome, Ashley. We completely finished our original plan and then added even more wall. We built much more. We added much more. It would have gone up within 3 weeks. It was all there. You see it there. And then I hear they're selling it now for 5 cents on the dollar. 5 cents. It's all steel, very special steel, concrete, and then rebar inside. Inside those bars are concrete and then rebar, very hardened steel. I wanted to use concrete plank. I'm a really good builder. That was what I did best. Maybe I still probably do that better than politics, come to think of it. But I'm good at it, and you know, so that's what I wanted. And they said, no, sir, it has to be steel, and you have to be able to see through it. You have to be able to see people coming with the drugs and everything else. I understood. And I gave them exactly what they want. Even the panel on top, it's called an anti-climb panel. You know this? I don't love it. Architecturally, I don't love it, but it works. You know, we had mountain climbers, and we had drug dealers. We have guys that can put 60, 70 pounds on their back and climb up these things like a guy like that. See that handsome guy? Are you with him? This kid is so good looking. Look at him. How old are you? How old are you? You are a handsome little devil. So, but they have guys, and they climb up a wall with drugs in their back, and we had all the best guys. Half of them came out of prisons, you know, would say, come on with us, we want to, and they couldn't get by the anti-climb panel. So, you know, it's very important. I just want to let you know one, because I loved it without that panel, but it really is very effective. Anti-climb panel. But we did it, and we built the wall at the rate of 1 mile every 24 hours. And we would have had the whole thing finished. We built, I said I was going to build 400 miles. I built 561 miles. And we would have had another 200. I added 200 at the end. And all the panels were there. Those are the ones that you see rotting in the sand. And those are the ones you see, they want to sell them. But then the other day, Biden goes out. And, you know, if he would have gone to the beach and just left everything alone, if he left our oil alone, he's got a consultant, you know, these are all consultants. He's got a consultant that thinks he's very good looking in a bathing suit. This consultant thinks it's a good look for him to be at a beach at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I don't think that looks too good, man, right? You know, we want somebody that works a little bit like I worked hard. But you know, we want a working president. Also, when you can't get your feet out of the sand, and you can't lift, you know, those chairs are a miracle because they're fairly large, and you can lift them like this, right? And he could barely lift them. He just like, this is not a good look. But if he would have gone to the beach and left the border alone, and left inflation alone, and left the economy alone, all that, he would have gone down as a great president instead of the worst president in the history of our country. Now the fake news is actually trying to give Crooked Joe credit for announcing they will build 20 miles of wall. 20 miles. He'll get more credit if he ever gets it done, which I doubt. Did you see the wall? It's like a portable, terrible looking wall. I think I could climb over the wall that they're looking to build with little help. I think I could climb over. Terrible. It's 20 miles long. If he gets it done, they'll say he did a better job than Trump. Because that's the way it is. Because the fake news are a big part. There are a lot of people back there, a lot of cameras. I see those lights going. You know, anytime I'm ready to talk about like CNN, they know it. They've got very good at this. I watch that red light go off like in 2 seconds, it's off. The light goes off. But they're using funds, and he's saying that he was legally required to spend. He had to do it, he had to do it, he had no choice, he had to do it. But all the other things he didn't have to do where he destroyed our country. So it's just one of those things he's doing it, he said, because he's afraid of being impeached. I said, what's so bad about impeachment? I got impeached twice, and my poll numbers went up. The difference is, he should be impeached. He's bad. He's bad. I got impeached over a phone call, right? I got impeached over a phone call, which turned out to be perfect. It was perfect. I called it. I called how crooked everything was, but it was mostly a phone call to congratulate a brand new president at that point, Zelensky, nice guy, to congratulate him on winning his thing. I got impeached for that. And here's a guy steals tens of millions of dollars and they don't impeach him. But let's see what happens. If you want a president who leaves $500 million worth of wall materials to rust on the desert floor, while illegal aliens stampede over them, they walk right over those panels. They're laying dead on the floor, rotting and rusting. If you want that in your communities, then you should immediately get up and vote for a crooked Joe Biden. Does anybody want to vote for Biden in this audience? Yeah.